Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 of our Photoshop lesson. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to add we want to put a cool graphic on the right side of the picture. It's going to be a snowflake, and it's going to look really neat. So what we want to do first is we're going to add a new layer. We're going to create a rectangle. If you come over here to the left on the tools, you'll see our rectangle tool set by default. We are going to go up to the option bar and find the fill, and you're going to be choosing pattern. You see that little stripy thing? I had already been playing with this, so that's why it was selected. Normally you would have seen this, something else there. This red, I think. But I'm going to be choosing this pattern, which is the stripes. And then I'm going to come down to this one right here. You have to wait a second here. It says light marble. You see it? I'm going to click it. Now I am going to draw a rectangle over on the right side. And you can see it takes up the whole picture. I'm sorry. It doesn't take up the whole picture. It takes up the right side of the picture. Excellent. Now, this, you can see the layer over here. This is rectangle 1, and you can see the background layer behind it. Now, this rectangle layer is a vector. This is a vector shape. All of these rectangle, ellipse, polygon, custom tool shapes, those are all vector shapes. This image in the background, the skier, is a bitmap image. Now, there's a difference between these things, and it's important to know. Bitmaps are made up of pixels. They're the tiny dots of color that form an image. If you remember the old TV sets that you used to be able to look at, if you looked really close at the TV, you would see the little dots that made up the picture. Nowadays, our TVs are so high definition that you can't see that anymore. But anyway, that's what a pixel is. Now, one of the primary problems with bitmap images is that the picture degrades as when you make it larger. Each of the pixels grows in size when you increase the bitmap image, and it becomes what we call pixelated or blurry. Now, this other type of image that we have, the vector image, is different. It is made up. This is like a mathematical formula. It's made up of points and lines, colors, and things like that. For instance, this rectangle is made up of 4 points, and it's expressed in like the XY coordinates as point here, point here, point here, point here, and then the computer says draw lines, and then the computer says whether to put a color there or a texture or whatever there. So I could make this rectangle as big as I wanted, and it would never degrade. It would never get blurry because it's like a mathematical. It's made up mathematically. So that's very cool. And vector images are very nice to store. They tend to be smaller because repetitious data doesn't have to go out there all the time. If you've got 1,000,000 pixels of purple, you don't need those 1,000,000 pixels. Pixels of purple, you just need a little thing that says fill this area in with 1,000,000 pixels of purple. Whereas in a bitmap, you have to have every single one of those darn pixels there. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. So this rectangle tool created this vector for us. We can see it over here. It says rectangle 1. Now let us go up to our. Let's see. We already went to the options bar. We already set the fill. All right. The next thing that we want to do is we're going to subtract the shape of of a snowflake from this to give it kind of a cool effect. And where the snowflake is, you won't be able to see this this light granite background. So let's get a custom shape. We come down on our toolbar. We come down to our rectangle. Hold the mouse button down for a second, and you'll see all these little options. Let's go for this bottom one, custom shape tool. Now we're going up to our options bar again, and let's go over to shape. Oh, bother. Well, now the shape is right here. It's not going to be there on yours. Okay. What you'll see when you do yours is just the basic shapes. Okay. So what you'll do is you click on these basic shapes, and then you'll see that little gear that I'm pointing to. You're going to click on that gear, and you're going to come down, and this is amongst the nature shapes. You could do all if you wanted to see everything. In fact, well, we don't really need to do all. But anyway, let's go down to nature. If you click on nature, and then it's going to ask you if you want to replace it or append. Now, appending is when you add something. So we're going to be appending the nature things into this. So you click on append. And now, when I come down, I can see all the cute little leaves and butterflies and things like that with all the basic ones. So let's come down. Let's find our snowflake. There's a couple snowflakes. The first one's probably good. See that little guy? Snowflake 1. Cool. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this on our, in this layer. We're going to subtract it from this vector shape. Now, if I just go and do this normally, it's going to be really clunky when I put this shape down. But if I hold the Alt key with my left hand and then draw this, you'll see this is going to look much nicer. Let's get rid of that. Here, turn that off. Good. All right, now I'm going to start on this left-hand edge of our rectangle, and I'm going to try to go right in the middle. I'm holding down the Alt key, and look at that little minus appears. And there's a minus appears, and it's not supposed to because you haven't set it up yet. I'm so sorry. All right, don't worry. Before we do this, let's do this right. You come up to your options tools, and do you see, I have this mouse on this thing called the path operations. Okay, click on that, and you're going to see new layer, combine shapes. The thing you want is this thing that says subtract from shape. Okay, I click on that, and I get that little corner thing up there. Okay, now, I'm going back to holding the Alt key. I'm right in the center of the left side, and I'm going to draw my awesome snowflake. Okay, so you want it to touch the top and the bottom and the edges, just like that. You let go of the Alt key, you let go of the mouse, and doesn't that look cool? You can see the background in the snowflake. It's a really nice little effect. When you look at this picture, you won't see this little vector image. You'll just see the white there, and then you'll see the picture kind of in the background. Now, if for some reason you wanted to move this, this is a path that's put on there. We could use the, if you come over to the left, you look and see the little black arrow that I have my mouse on, and it says Path Selection Tool. If I click that, I can come over, and now I can move my snowflake if I want to. Now, I don't really want to move it. I really like where I have it, so I'm going to put it back there. But you can see at this point I can move this. And again, this is a vector image, vector shape, and you can see it's made up of all these little points and all these little lines connecting these points. Okay? Good. Okay, well that is the... Oh, that's my son playing video games in the background. Okay, that's the end of that. Let's end this, and we will come back and do a part 3. Maybe we should do a quick save, just because you never know when your computer's going to crash. So I'll file save. Make sure you call it, it's a Photoshop document. And here I'll call it the downhill skier, I don't know, project. Cool. Let's save that. Yeah, I get that stupid message. Say OK, and we're good. All right. Very good.